Hey guys, J77 here doing a special read and review, and I'm not really just doing a review per se, just my feeling of a author that really did impact not only my life but a lot of people's lives growing up in the 90s and even now. That is R.L Stine. Those who have read Goosebumps, you know who I'm talking about. Those who read my favorite series from him, Fear Street or Ghost of Fear Street, you know what I'm talking about. R.L Stine is a very unique author to me. He has almost 1,000 books out there. How he managed to do that, I really don't know. But what attracted me to his work, surprisingly, wasn't Goosebumps. I said it before. Fear Street was my favorite series. I know what Goosebumps was. The Fox had a TV series of it. A lot of people was reading that book, but for some reason, I never really jumped into the Goosebumps crave. I didn't see what was so special about Goosebumps, largely because I really wasn't that deep into reading. My reading level was not the greatest of them all. In fact, if you knew my reading level back then, you would be cracking up as how the hell can anybody go through the day with that kind of reading level. But that's unfortunate that has actually happened. I didn't know how to, let's just say, how to visualize what was said in words. At R.L Stine, when I read Ghost of Fear Street, which was my very first R.L Stine book that my uncle had given to me, the moment I started reading it is the moment I realized I was actually grasping what was going on. I actually imagined what the world he was putting in, and I was really hooked on it. I was really reading it, and I kept reading it, and I was like, I didn't want to put this book down. And that was the impact of his books. His book was so addictive, pretty much in tune that you actually got sucked into it. And when the book was over, you're like, no, I want more. I really want more. And this really got me into reading more of his work. I read one of my favorites, Hide and Streak, Who've Been Sleeping in My Grave, and that actually pretty much inspired me to go after his older work, his books for teenagers, which was the original Fear Street. And I'm going to make this very clear. Ghost of Fear Street is a spin-off of Fear Street. Fear Street came first. And my first experience with Fear Street, with that series, was Stepsister. It was a very good mystery, and I realized something when I was reading it, because I assumed that all the Fear Street books had a haunted ghost theme surrounding it. It's not really true. The Ghost of Fear Street, it does have pretty much dominantly a ghost element, but that was made for younger viewers, younger readers, ages 12, 13, 7, 8, 9, 10. This was made for teenagers, and it had more of a whodunit, murder, what's going on mystery involved. And the only thing that both series have in common is that it was done on a street that was very eerie, not too pleasant to be around to, and pretty much cursed. And that's where the both themes are. But both of them did so well and keep me engaged that I actually wanted to read more of it. The New Boy, I read the Locked Door, The New Guy, Stepsister 2. I read a whole lot of these books. I think the only one I never really got in tune with was Fear Hall. It was a 2-part Fear Street novel that I never really got into, and it's kind of funny because it was such a big thing, but it just never in tune me. I also never really got involved with R.L Stine's comedy work, because he did a lot more than just ghost stories and suspense. He did a lot of comedy books, and I never really got into it. I think it was because I was so engaged of his ghosts and mystery thrillers that when he did comedy to me, it's just I couldn't grasp that. I couldn't actually picture that. So it was just that was one of the things that I never really got into. But the stuff I did get into, I really did enjoy it. I remember him writing something about he doesn't know where he gets the ideas from. He just write it down, put it in the paper, and then go and fix it up later. And it really prompted me myself to actually do the same thing, write things down, see how that goes, and work from there. And as I was reading with him, along with J.K. Rowling, with the Harry Potter books, I started to get better at it. I started to understand words more better. I started to understand how to use a dictionary more better. So this was the impact that he has done for me, because he was the first person who I actually visualized the world without having pictures to rely on, and that's how powerful his work was. A lot of people love Goosebumps for a lot of reasons. It is probably one of the first introduction that people read in school libraries. That and Curious George, and there's nothing wrong with that. I know that when he went on a long hiatus, people wonder what happened, if he was still alive, has he quit? Nobody knew what it was, and I think it had to stem to one book that I think no one liked it because the bad guy actually won, and it had very negative reviews from his fans. But he actually disappeared for a while, and then he came back and he started doing new Goosebumps books. Now I don't know how the rating is for the new Goosebumps books. I think that it's pretty much geared towards a new generation, and that's fine. But he is writing again, and I'm actually glad he's writing again because he is a hell of a good author. And I think that for kids and teenagers of this generation and beyond should at least look at his books one time. About a year and a half ago, I actually did a video saying that the movie studios are looking to do a Goosebumps movie. I'm actually for it as long as they do it right, as long as they take not 3 stories and try to jumble up into one big script, but just one story and actually make it into a full-length picture. There's enough stuff there to do it. There's enough stuff you can actually even add on. God knows, anybody say it can't be done. They did it with Nadia, and Nadia, for the most part, have been successful. So you can do it with a Goosebumps book if you do it right. Or better yet, just put a new series, Goosebumps series out there, and let fans from all generations know why people have fell in love with Goosebumps in the first place. Like I said, I'm not a Goosebumps fan, but that's not because I hate the books. It's just that I was introduced to Fear Street first, and I didn't want to mingle that. That was my series that I actually love. That's not to say that that Goosebumps is bad. That's just my series was always Fear Street and nothing else, and that was cool with me. There are fans of him in Fear Street. There are fans of him in Goosebumps, and you can have both. I'd like to know what you guys feel about R.L Stine. To me, he played a very important part of my life. He really did, because he was the first person that I got involved with the series books. I'd never really jumped into something in the series so engagingly until I actually read his work. I read Curious George, but I wasn't that into Curious George. I didn't really jump into his series. I read the Alice Cross books, but like I said, that was after I read the R.L Stine book. So R.L Stine was my very first book that I series that I actually wanted to be engaged with the Ghost of Fear Street and Fear Street in general. So that's how important he was to me, and because of that, because he was the first author who made me visualize what this world was, whether or not that was his intentions or not. I gotta give him a shout out, because he made me appreciate reading a lot more than what I was when I was growing up. I really didn't appreciate reading. I didn't know how important it was until I started reading his books. So shout out to him. I hope he's still writing, and you know what, R.L Stine, if you're listening, and I seriously doubt you are, you do have a lot of fans who love your work, man. You do have a lot of fans, and I'm saying this for everybody. Thank you for writing. Thank you for keeping us entertained all these years, and thank you for keeping the children that's grown up now entertained as they go through the same process we did when we got introduced to your work. So kudos to you, guy. Kudos to you and your family. That's pretty much it for the reading review. This is going to be short and simple. Until then, this is J77 saying take care, be safe, and tell me what's your favorite R.L Stine book. Until then, take care.